Well, we're almost there now. Here's the last page of properties with all the different polygons we've been talking about. So this one has to do with rectangles and squares. So at the top of your paper, go ahead and write rectangle and square properties. And so go ahead and add the definition on to your paper here. A rectangle is a quadrilateral with 4 right angles. So this is a picture of a rectangle, and here's our 4 right angles here. And basically there's a few things you need to know about a rectangle. Number one, if it's a rectangle, it's a parallelogram by definition here. So everything that's true about a parallelogram is true for a rectangle. And so if you were to go back to your toolkit and look at that toolkit entry for parallelogram properties, all those properties are true for rectangles as well. Another one you ought to know is that the opposite sides are parallel. So these sides, the left and the right, would be parallel, and the top and the bottom would be parallel as well. And then the last one you would want to know is that the diagonals are congruent. So once again, let me draw on the diagonals here. So we've got diagonal number 1, and we've got diagonal number 2. So that means that these two diagonals here, the red one here and the blue one, so if I call this A, B, C, D, I could say that AC, that line segment AC that is congruent to line segment BD, and that is true for all rectangles. The other half of your paper is going to be about squares. So what is a square? Well, it's a quadrilateral with 4 equal sides and also 4 right angles. So here's the picture. Here's our 4 right angles. Here's our 4 equal sides. That's a square. Next up, all squares are rectangles. So everything that's true about a rectangle, and remember also rectangles are parallelograms, would also be true for squares. And also all squares are rhombi. Now rhombi is plural for rhombus. So all the properties that are true for a rhombus are also going to be true for a square, because remember, once again, what's the definition of a rhombus? You have 4 equal sides and it's a quadrilateral. So that means that the squares have lots of different properties. They have rectangles, parallelograms, and also rhombus properties as well. So definitely go back, look at your toolkit for those, and that's going to be true for all squares.